Here's your General Hospital spoilers sneak peek video for the week of June 30, July 4th, 2025. Alexis gets serious this week when it looks like Kristina could pay the price for being Sonny Corinthos' daughter. A year ago, Kristina went flying out of a Metro court window into the pool while 9 months pregnant. But that wasn't Sonny's fault. This year, Kristina is alone at Charlie's after the christening when someone throws a firebomb through the window. Sidwell seems to watch the scene from the Windermere parapet again, just as he did when Sonny's penthouse went up in flames, with Michael trapped inside. Sonny and Jason rush to the scene and realize that their plans to get out of the mob might be derailed because whoever did this to Michael is at it again 6 months later. As for Alexis, she lays it on the line with Sonny and reminds him that gangsters go after their enemies' loved ones before they go after each other. She never wanted Kristina to own Charlie's because of its association with Sonny. But Alexis can't escape the fact that Sonny is Kristina's father, bar or no bar. Kristina has essentially been in danger since the day she was born. Alexis vows that she will not lose another daughter after losing Sam last year, so how is she going to protect Kristina? Also, is Alexis getting a little tired, considering the other things she is doing to protect her problem child? Meanwhile, it doesn't look like Sonny gets Natalia to Belize after all. She makes a scene outside the church before Daisy's christening, so Sonny realizes Natalia will not go quietly into the night and onto tropical sands like he wanted. Instead, Natalia appears to go on another bender in her Metro Court hotel room, where she tosses her clothing and belongings all about before passing out on the couch. Natalia doesn't seem long for Port Charles one way or another, so how will she finally go out? Will her excessive drinking eventually lead to her ultimate downfall? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Monday, June 30th, 2025. Sonny is surprised when Natalia shows up at Daisy's christening 3 sheets to the wind and furious as can be. He thought he had his Natalia problem taken care of. She was supposed to already be on a flight to Belize, and he was only going to deal with her on his terms. Sonny has Natalia escorted out of the church, but she causes another scene outside, where she warns Sonny that he is going to be taught every lesson he deserves. Where Natalia ends up is anyone's guess, but she better not go to Charlie's to down a few more drinks. Someone sabotages the establishment. When Kristina finds herself in danger, does that mean that she is there when her bar is set ablaze? Meanwhile, Anna continues to squabble with Justine Turner about Sonny. Anna is sure she can do her job right, even if she does have a soft spot for the mobster. Lucas does the best he can to talk Marco out of calling the police on his wayward mother. Lucas knows what it's like to have at least one criminal parent and has some regrets about how he left things with Julie and Jerome. He reminds Marco that this might be the last chance he has to make things right with Natalia if he reaches out to her now. Lucas has no idea how right he may be, as his father's former bar could end up causing some explosive trouble. Portia thought she finally had what she wanted when Curtis began kissing her and made room on his desk for some added fun. Then, Jordan walked in and spoiled it all. Now Portia has it out with her husband and wants to know what the heck is really going on between him and Jordan. He always runs right to his ex whenever there is trouble in their marriage. Maybe it's time Curtis makes up his mind who he truly wants. General Hospital spoilers report rumors are swirling of Nelle Benson's shocking potential return in the months ahead, potentially sparking a vicious gaslighting plot against Sasha Gilmore Corbin. Presumed dead since her 2020 fall, Nelle, daughter of Nina Reeves and Silas Clay, and twin to Willow Corinthos, might resurface, fueled by bitterness over Michael Corinthos moving on with Sasha. Sasha's fragile postpartum state, after giving birth to Daisy Corinthos Corbin, combined with a disturbing hospital mix-up as well as one at home where Daisy was found in unfamiliar clothing and turned around in her crib, hints at foul play. Could Nelle, enraged by Michael's custody win of Wiley Corinthos from Willow, target Sasha to unravel her sanity? Is this Nelle's revenge, or a twin-sized twist? General Hospital spoilers. Nelle's return, driven by jealousy. Nelle's presumed death left scars. but rumors suggest she survived, or a twin is at play. A nod to her Clay Reeves lineage. Her fury at Michael, now building a family with Sasha after taking Wiley from Willow in a brutal custody fight, could drive her to target Sasha. The nursery incident, unsettling Sasha's postpartum nerves, feels like Nelle's signature chaos, echoing her past vendettas against Carly Spencer. A calculated return could reveal Nelle's intent to gaslight Sasha, blaming her for stealing Michael's heart and Wiley's only known mother. Will Nelle's jealousy spark a cruel scheme, or is another player involved? GH spoilers say Sasha's vulnerable mind under siege. Sasha's emotional fragility, haunted by the loss of her son Liam, makes her a prime target for Nelle's manipulation. The hospital mix-up and continued unexplainable events at home fuel Sasha's paranoia, and more odd events, like a misplaced baby item, could push her to doubt her sanity. Nelle, skilled at tormenting, might pose as a hospital aide to sow chaos, aiming to fracture Sasha's bond with Michael. If Robert Scorpio or Holly Sutton catch wind, or Jason Morgan senses trouble, they might intervene, but Sasha's spiral could blind her. Will Nelle's gaslighting break Sasha? Or can she fight back? General Hospital spoilers, a revenge plot that rocks Port Charles. Nelle's return, driven by jealousy and rage over Willow's loss, could ripple across Port Charles, reigniting feuds with Nina and Carly. If Sasha crumbles, Michael's custody of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos might falter, giving Nelle leverage. GH fans are at odds on this one, with some cheering Nelle's back for blood, and others fearing Sasha's too fragile for this. General Hospital spoilers indicate a war between Sonny Corinthos and Jen Sidwell will heat up during the week of June 30th, July 4th, and unfortunately, it looks like a very drunk Natalia Ramirez and her potential demise could turn this bad situation far uglier. From the sounds of it, Sidwell will be behind the first strike when Charlie's pub catches on fire, with Sonny's daughter, Kristina Corinthos Davis, still in the establishment. But at this point in time, it's hard to truly tell if Sidwell is behind this. Will Kristina come out of this with a few scratches, or will she be fighting for her life? Her fate hangs in the balance. However, another character who could meet their demise is Natalia. The GH preview for the week of June 30th, July 4 shows Natalia on a couch, and she's clearly had too much to drink. During a clip, she slumps over as her eyes roll to the back of her head, and she passes out. Will something worse happen? The daytime drama is infamous for compiling these preview clips out of context to swerve fans. The GH Weekly Preview often tells a story that doesn't end up happening on screen, so it's hard to say if Natalia will pass away, but it's always fun to make predictions. Since Marco Rios found out that his mom was going to skip town and not work with ADA Justine Turner for a deal on her DUI charge, he's been concerned about Sonny going after Natalia and getting rid of her for good. Natalia had information that could put Sonny away, and she let him know it. Thanks to his father, Marco knows how crime bosses work. They rarely allow people who have dirt on them to live. Sonny was seemingly organizing a new life for Natalia, but the sad news is, she thought he was going with her. When she realized he wasn't, Natalia turned to alcohol, something that's become a trend for her lately. Despite being told she was going to leave for her new life right away, she snuck away from Sonny's security guard in front of her hotel room and appeared at Daisy's christening on the Friday, June 27th episode. Sonny will not stand for this type of behavior and will likely ensure Natalia is taken back to her hotel room swiftly. Still, as she's drunk, Sonny may need to hold off on any travel plans. He'll get one of his henchmen to drag her back and away from his granddaughter's blessed event. As no one knows how much Natalia's had to drink, could she suffer from alcohol poisoning? Could she pass away between the time she is sent back to her hotel and the time she is found? It's not hard to think that Marco may be the one to find his mom, unalive, on the couch, and naturally assume that this was Sonny's handiwork versus alcohol poisoning. Sidwell's fire in Charlie's pub could be minor, like a small warning to Sonny, without crossing a line. It's hard to say whether or not the fire will spread fast and cause Kristina life-threatening injuries, or if it'll be small and she'll escape with ease. Then again, there's always the chance that Sidwell isn't behind the fire, and an unknown threat still lingers in the shadows. Regardless, if Natalia passes away, and both Marco and Sidwell believe Sunny is behind it, this could launch an all-out mob war. Sidwell and Natalia weren't close, but as the mother of his son, it'll sting knowing that Sunny lashed out at his family in this regard. Plus, if Marco is upset, Sidwell will want retribution. General Hospital spoilers say it looks like the feud between Jen Sidwell and Sunny Corinthos is about to heat up, as the criminal launches a massive strike against Port Charles' top mob boss. After all, Sidwell was rubbed the wrong way when he offered to buy Sunny's PC crime syndicate and was rejected. Sidwell hates hearing the word no, so he's about to teach Sunny a hard lesson about why no one ever declines a proposal from him. The GH preview for the week of June 30th, July 4th centers on the war that's about rage between Sidwell and Sunny. However, the very last two scenes are downright terrifying. Fire is thrown through the window of Charlie's pub as Kristina Corinthos is shown hovering behind the establishment's bar. As the fire hits some gasoline and gains momentum, a clip of Sunny's face flashes across the screen, while Alexis Davis's voice can be heard in the background saying, "I'm not going to bury another daughter." Unfortunately, it looks like Kristina is going to get caught in the crossfire of this mob war, and considering the young woman's mental health state, this isn't good news. But what about her physical state? Alexis's voice is quivering as she lashes out at Sunny about the very idea of another child of hers passing away. Alexis will never get over losing Sam McCall, but another daughter meeting her demise would ruin the mother, who's hanging on by a thread at this point. Will the fire at Charlie's be bad? Will Kristina suffer life-threatening injuries? This could go a number of ways. On the one hand, Sunny, Jason Morgan, or possibly another character, could burst into Charlie's and save Kristina before things turn ugly. There's also a chance that a character risks their life to get Kristina out in the nick of time, but she still teeters as she fights for her life. Even if Kristina ends up with a couple of scratches, the very scenario will trigger Alexis's PTSD and everything that went down with Sam. If Kristina is on the verge of passing, Alexis will become an absolute mess, and she'll undeniably blame Sunny for her daughter's current crisis. The announcement that Ryan Pavey will reprise his role as Nathan West on General Hospital has sent waves of excitement through the show's devoted fanbase. For over 7 years, fans have mourned the loss of Nathan, a beloved detective whose tragic death in 2018 left an indelible mark on the fictional town of Port Charles. Gunned down by his own father, the notorious villain Cesar Faison, Nathan's sacrifice to protect his wife, Maxie, and their unborn child remains one of the soap opera's most heart-wrenching moments. Now, in 2025, the news of his return has reignited hope and speculation, promising a seismic shift in the General Hospital storyline. Pavey's portrayal of Nathan West was more than just a charismatic hero. He embodied loyalty, compassion, and justice, serving as a moral anchor in a town often clouded by deception. His death left a void not only for Maxie, whose heart was shattered, but also for his half-sister, Britt Westbourne, who leaned on Nathan as her emotional lifeline. The announcement of his return has fans buzzing with anticipation, eager to see how Nathan's reappearance will reshape the lives of those he left behind. What has elevated this announcement from nostalgic joy to electrifying intrigue is Pavey's revelation that he won't be returning alone. Another actor, whose identity remains a closely guarded secret, will join him in Port Charles. This cryptic tease has sparked a frenzy of theories across social media, with fans speculating about who this mystery figure could be. Is it a long-lost relative, a former flame, or someone tied to the dark legacy of Cesar Faison? The only clue provided is that it's not Kelly Thiebaud, whose return as Britt Westbourne has already been confirmed, narrowing the field but deepening the mystery. The possibilities are endless. Could this be a character from Nathan's past, perhaps a fellow detective, or a figure connected to his work on the police force? Some fans wonder if it's someone with ties to Faison's criminal empire, carrying secrets that could unravel years of buried truths. Others speculate about a supernatural twist, imagining Nathan returning as a ghost or a vision, guiding Maxie or Britt through unresolved grief. The timing of this return aligns with several ongoing storylines, including the embryo theft involving Gio and Rocco, and whispers of genetic manipulation suggesting Nathan's reappearance could intersect with these plots in explosive ways. Nathan's return is poised to disrupt the emotional landscape of Port Charles. For Maxie, now entangled with Damian Spinelli, the reappearance of her late husband could reopen old wounds and challenge her current relationship. The thought of Nathan's survival, perhaps having been held captive or manipulated in the years since his supposed death, adds a layer of intrigue and tragedy. Could his death have been a ruse orchestrated by Faison's allies to remove him from Port Charles's power struggles? If so, the implications could ripple across the town, destabilizing relationships and unearthing long-buried secrets. Britt Westbourne, whose own return is shrouded in mystery, faces her own emotional reckoning. Nathan was her anchor, a reminder that she could rise above her father's villainous legacy. If the mystery actor is someone connected to Faison, perhaps a former victim or ally, Britt could be drawn into a dangerous game of vengeance and redemption. Her complex history with Jason Morgan, marked by unspoken love and shared vulnerability, could also resurface, suddenly pulling Jason into the emotional chaos of Nathan's return. Theories abound about the mystery actor's identity. Could it be a long-lost mother, a hidden child, or a figure from Nathan's past whose existence Maxie never knew? Some fans even speculate about a new character, introduced to reveal untold chapters of Nathan's life. The possibility of a conspiracy, perhaps tied to the embryo theft or Faison's lingering influence, adds further weight to the narrative, promising a storyline that could redefine Port Charles's history. Nathan West's return is more than a nostalgic callback. It's a narrative earthquake that could reshape General Hospital's future. His reappearance, alongside an enigmatic companion, signals a story that will delve into the heart of Port Charles's past and present. Fans are bracing for a roller coaster of emotions, from the joy of seeing a beloved character return to the tension of unresolved mysteries coming to light. Whether Nathan returns as a living man, a ghostly presence, or something else entirely, his impact will be profound. As General Hospital prepares to unveil this bold new chapter, the anticipation is palpable. Nathan's story was never truly finished, and his return promises to explore themes of redemption, truth, and love. The mystery actor's identity holds the key to how far-reaching this storyline will be, potentially rewriting long-standing narratives and challenging every character in Port Charles. For fans, this isn't just about welcoming back a hero. It's about witnessing a reckoning that could change the town forever. In the latest emotional arc of General Hospital, Willow Tate finds herself at the heart of a painful reckoning, one that tests the very foundation of love, identity, and motherhood. What began as a quiet moment by the Metro Court pool quickly spirals into a life-altering confrontation between a mother and the son she's raised, but may never truly reclaim. For longtime viewers, this storyline dives deep into family dynamics, emotional truth, and the lasting impact of decisions made in desperation. The story begins with Willow, cloaked in sunglasses and emotional vulnerability, secretly watching her son Y during a swim session with Michael at the Metro Court. It's been too long since she last held him freely without court supervision. When Michael briefly steps away, Willow seizes the moment, approaching Y with the hope of rekindling their bond. At first, Y's reaction is reserved, but not rejecting. They sit by the pool, sipping smoothies and talking, until Willow subtly suggests a getaway, just the two of them. Her proposal is meant to heal, but instead it unsettles Y. His immediate and firm no stuns Willow, especially when he admits that her relationship with Drew feels strange to him. The emotional gap between them grows wider when Y accuses her of trying to take him and his sister Amelia away from their father. The turning point comes when Y drops a bombshell. "You're not my real mom." The revelation stuns Willow, who had always known this moment would come, but not like this. Not through a family argument overheard by a child. Y reveals he learned the truth from his grandmother, and now feels betrayed by everyone around him. Willow's attempt to explain that love, not biology, defines motherhood is met with quiet, devastating rejection. Y pulls away, seeking comfort in Michael, who returns to find his son visibly shaken. Without a word, Michael gathers Y and walks away, leaving Willow alone by the pool, overwhelmed by sorrow and regret. Later that night, Michael holds Y close, listening to his unspoken pain. He recognizes the emotional manipulation at play and decides to act, not out of anger, but to protect his son. The next morning, he files for an emergency court order to restrict Willow's visitation rights until a full psychological evaluation can be completed. When Willow receives the legal notice, she's met with silence from Michael and disappointment from Drew. Even her inner circle begins to distance themselves. Her relationship with Drew starts to crumble, especially after he questions whether she truly tried to take custody without consent. Isolated and emotionally drained, Willow begins court-mandated therapy. What starts as a requirement evolves into a journey of self-awareness. Through intense sessions, she uncovers the root of her need for control and begins to understand the damage it caused. Meanwhile, Michael gently explains Y's origins, about Nelle Benson, Y's biological mother, and her troubled legacy. He balances the truth with compassion, helping Y process complex emotions. Y's question, "Will I ever have a real mom?" echoes the core of this storyline, one that challenges the meaning of motherhood itself. Months pass. The court recognizes Willow's progress and permits supervised visits with a licensed child therapist. Slowly, cautiously, Y begins to open up. He no longer calls her mom, but he starts calling her Willow again. For her, it's a small but powerful step toward healing. Willow and Drew eventually part ways, their engagement dissolving quietly. As Willow rebuilds her life, she focuses on stability and emotional maturity rather than control. Y continues to grow, teaching those around him that love isn't about possession, it's about honesty and presence. This chapter in General Hospital presents a poignant exploration of motherhood, truth, and emotional healing. Through Willow's fall and gradual redemption, the show reminds viewers that love, especially between parent and child, isn't defined by birth or even history, but by the courage to face the truth and the humility to rebuild from it. As Y begins to trust again and Willow learns the value of slow, patient restoration, the stage is set for a future shaped not by secrets, but by sincerity. In the heart of Port Charles, a town where secrets simmer and love is often laced with danger, a poignant story of romance, betrayal, and personal growth has unfolded. At the center of this narrative is Trina, a determined and brilliant student at Port Charles University, whose journey through love's highs and lows has captivated those who follow the city's tangled web of relationships and power plays. What began as a simple academic partnership has evolved into a profound exploration of trust, resilience, and self-discovery, resonating deeply with anyone who has ever navigated the complexities of the heart. Trina's story starts in an art history classroom at PCU, where a project paired her with Kai, a celebrated quarterback with a gentle spirit and a complicated medical history. Trina, still healing from the devastating loss of her first love, Spencer, wasn't looking for romance. Spencer's departure had left her wary, her trust eroded by betrayals that lingered like shadows. Yet, in Kai, she found something unexpected, a calm presence, a stark contrast to the emotional storms of her past. Their connection grew slowly, built on shared vulnerabilities and quiet moments, stolen glances during study sessions, conversations that revealed their hopes and fears. Kai's approach was understated but powerful. He didn't woo Trina with grand gestures, but with respect and understanding. When he adjusted his demanding football schedule to prioritize their project, it was a small act that spoke volumes. For Trina, accustomed to relationships marked by volatility, Kai's steady presence was both disarming and healing. Their Valentine's Day kiss, soft and tentative, wasn't a fiery declaration, but a mutual acknowledgement that they might, together, write a new chapter free from past ghosts. But Port Charles is a town where serenity is fleeting, and the arrival of Drew, a charismatic yet calculating figure, disrupted the fragile haven Trina and Kai had built. Drew presented himself as a mentor, offering Kai a life-changing surgery and a prestigious congressional internship. To the outside world, it seemed like a golden opportunity. Yet, beneath his polished exterior, Drew's intentions were far from altruistic. His generosity was a calculated move, designed to embed himself in Trina and Kai's lives and sow discord. The turning point came at a press conference where Kai stood beside Drew, basking in the glow of newfound opportunities. For Trina, watching from the sidelines, the moment was a painful awakening. The purity of her bond with Kai, untainted by Port Charles's power games, began to fracture. Worse still was Kai's unintentional betrayal. He overheard and inadvertently revealed a secret plan by Curtis and Portia to frame Drew in a scandal. Despite Trina's pleas to keep it confidential, Kai's slip, born of naivety rather than malice, shattered her trust. The hurt wasn't just about the secret, it was about Kai's failure to stand firm, to protect the bond they had so carefully nurtured. As Trina grappled with this betrayal, the specter of Spencer, her first love, re-emerged. Though he had left Port Charles to start anew elsewhere, Spencer's memory lingered in Trina's heart. Every smile she shared with Kai carried an echo of the passionate, chaotic love she once knew. Rumors of Spencer's possible return stirred a storm of emotions, forcing Trina to confront whether she could face him again, or if she could trust herself to survive the pull of their unfinished story. Spencer had been her everything, a love both exhilarating and destructive, and his absence had left wounds that never fully healed. Meanwhile, Drew's manipulations deepened the chaos. A master of disguise, he cloaked his ambition in mentorship, using Trina's emotional vulnerability as a pawn in his broader political game. His interference wasn't just destructive, it was deliberate, a calculated effort to fracture Trina and Kai's bond for his own gain. Trina's anger wasn't solely directed at Kai's misstep, but at Drew's violation of her autonomy, turning her life into a battlefield for his agenda. Faced with heartbreak and manipulation, Trina stood at a crossroads. She could try to rebuild with Kai, whose regret was genuine, but whose actions revealed his unpreparedness for Port Charles's ruthless dynamics. She could entertain the possibility of Spencer's return, a path fraught with the risk of reopening old wounds. Or she could choose herself, forging a future defined not by love or loss, but by her own strength and agency. What sets Trina apart is her transformation. No longer the girl who once waited for love to define her, she has become the author of her own story. Port Charles, with its endless cycles of betrayal and ambition, thrives on breaking hearts. But Trina refuses to be broken. Her quiet resolve, her refusal to be a pawn in Drew's schemes or a casualty of Kai's mistakes, marks her as a force to be reckoned with. Even Spencer, should he return, will face a woman who demands respect and authenticity, not just devotion. Trina's journey is more than a love story. It's a testament to resilience in a world where trust is fragile and power is ever present. For those in Port Charles and beyond, her story serves as a reminder that love, while beautiful, is never simple. It comes with consequences, demanding courage and clarity to navigate. As Trina stands poised to make her choice, whether to forgive Kai, confront Spencer, or embrace her own path, she embodies the strength to redefine what it means to survive and thrive. In a town where secrets shape destinies, Trina's decision will ripple far beyond her own heart. It will challenge the manipulations of men like Drew, who underestimate the power of a woman who has learned to stand unshaken. As Port Charles braces for the next storm, one truth is clear. Trina is no longer caught in the chaos. She is the calm at its center, and her story will be written on her terms, with a fire forged from every heartbreak she has endured. General Hospital, the beloved daytime drama that has captivated audiences for decades, is on the brink of a dramatic transformation. In a recent episode of his State of Mind podcast, Maurice Benard, the emotional cornerstone of the show as Sonny Corinthos, dropped a bombshell that has left fans reeling. Without naming names, Benard hinted at the imminent departure of several key characters from Port Charles, signaling a seismic shift in the show's narrative and emotional landscape. This revelation, delivered with heartfelt vulnerability, has sparked intense speculation and unease among viewers. who have come to see the show as a second family. Online TV streaming services Bernard's cryptic announcement confirmed that some of Port Charles' most iconic figures are set to exit, though he remained tight-lipped about who and when. The news carries an emotional weight that suggests these departures are more than just routine casting changes. Among those confirmed to be leaving are Carlo Rota's Sidwell, Steve Burton's Jason Morgan, and Rena Sofer's Lois Cerullo, characters who have been integral to the show's storytelling. Their exits are not mere farewells, but a deliberate destabilization of the town's emotional and narrative fabric. Sidwell, the enigmatic manipulator who thrived in the gray space between legality and cunning, leaves behind a chilling void. His departure raises questions about the secrets he may have buried and the chaos he could still unleash from the shadows. Jason, the stoic protector and moral anchor for many, including Michael Corinthos, exits at a time when his grounding presence is desperately needed. His absence will leave Michael adrift, grappling with guilt and loss. Meanwhile, Lois, the fiery matriarch who brought emotional clarity to Brooklyn and Gio, leaves them vulnerable as family secrets unravel. These departures are not isolated events, but a collective upheaval that threatens to reshape Port Charles. The timing of these exits couldn't be worse. Port Charles is already a powder keg of drama, with Daisy's kidnapping, Sasha's fragile mental state, Drew's power plays, and Willow's psychological struggles pushing the show's emotional boundaries. The loss of these key figures adds fuel to an already blazing fire. Bernard's reflective tone, tinged with sorrow, hinted at a deeper transformation, not just in plot lines, but in the show's tone and identity. Sometimes we have to say goodbye, not because we want to, but because it's time for the story to grow, he said, igniting speculation about whether Sonny himself might face a temporary exit, or if those closest to him, Carly, Jason, Nina, or Michael, will be affected. The ambiguity of Bernard's words has left fans haunted by questions. Will legacy families like the Corinthos, Quartermains, or Spencer's face fractures? Could beloved couples be torn apart, or will long-lost enemies return for a final showdown? The uncertainty is palpable, and the emotional stakes are higher than ever. As if the departures weren't enough, Port Charles is bracing for a wave of dramatic returns that promise to upend the status quo. Britt, Holly, and Nelle, three women with unresolved grudges and explosive secrets, are back, and their reappearances are anything but nostalgic. Britt's return as Rocco's biological mother sends shockwaves through the Falconeri family, threatening Lulu's recovery and Dante's sense of identity. Her calculated re-entry is a bid to reclaim her place in Rocco's life, no matter the cost. Holly, with her ties to espionage and past betrayals, brings a dangerous unpredictability, while whispers of Nelle's survival plunge Sasha and Michael into paranoia and guilt. If Nelle is indeed alive, her return could reignite old feuds and target Daisy as a pawn in her quest for vengeance. These returns are not mere homecomings, they are declarations of emotional warfare. Each woman carries the weight of past betrayals, and their presence promises to unravel the fragile stability of Port Charles. As secrets surface and alliances fracture, the town is entering a new era of chaos. General Hospital has always thrived on its ability to blend passion, dysfunction, and heart into a compelling family saga. But with these changes, the show is poised for a reinvention that will test its characters and its fans. The departures of Sidwell, Jason, and Lois, coupled with the explosive returns of Britt, Holly, and Nelle, mark a turning point. Port Charles is no longer a place of familiar comfort, but a battleground where truths are fluid, trust is eroding, and no one is safe. For longtime viewers, this moment is both thrilling and heartbreaking. The loss of familiar faces stings, but the promise of new stories and fresh faces offers hope for reinvention. As Bernard himself seems to suggest, growth often comes with pain. Fans are left to mourn the Port Charles they've known while bracing for a season of transformation unlike any before. The storm is here, and as secrets unravel and bonds are tested, one thing is clear. General Hospital is entering uncharted territory, and its future will be defined by the emotional wreckage and resilience of those who remain. In the heart of Port Charles, a gripping drama is unfolding, one that has captivated the community with its raw emotion and stark warnings about the cost of loyalty. At the center of the storm is Kai, a young man once celebrated as a beacon of hope and resilience. His journey, marked by a dangerous psychological transformation, serves as a cautionary tale of how gratitude can twist into obsession, tearing apart relationships and lives in its wake. As Port Charles watches, Kai's story reveals the devastating consequences of blind allegiance and the fragility of redemption. Kai's story began with promise. A survivor of profound trauma, he was a symbol of healing, rebuilding his life with determination and forming a deep bond with Trina, rooted in mutual respect and authenticity. His gratitude toward Drew, a charismatic yet morally ambiguous figure who funded an experimental procedure that saved Kai's life, seemed like a natural response. But what started as appreciation has spiraled into a toxic dependency, one that has clouded Kai's judgment and set him on a collision course with those he holds dear. Drew, a powerful man with a shadowy moral compass, has masterfully manipulated Kai's need for validation. Kai's unwavering loyalty has led him to defend Drew at every turn, even when faced with mounting evidence of Drew's ruthless and self-serving actions. This blind allegiance has driven a wedge between Kai and Trina, eroding the trust and love they once shared. Trina, who sees Drew's exploitation clearly, has tried to warn Kai, but her pleas fall on deaf ears as he dismisses her concerns as a lack of faith in him. Kai's actions have grown increasingly erratic. He inserts himself into conflicts that don't concern him, shields Drew from criticism, and justifies betrayals as strategic moves. The man who once valued honesty and compassion now spins excuses for lies, losing himself in a desperate quest to prove his worth. His obsession with repaying Drew has not only strained his relationship with Trina, but also endangered her family, including her parents, Curtis and Portia, who are caught in Drew's relentless pursuit of power. The ripple effects of Kai's choices are profound. Curtis and Portia, already grappling with personal betrayals and unresolved trauma, face new threats orchestrated by Drew, with Kai unwittingly aiding in their unraveling. Anonymous threats, tampered medical records, and a missing witness in a custody battle all bear Kai's fingerprints, though Drew's name remains carefully detached. The most devastating blow comes when Kai's carelessness leads to a near-fatal vehicular assault on Curtis and Justinda, a returning figure whose secrets threaten to dismantle Drew's web of lies. Trina, heartbroken and enraged, watches as the man she once loved becomes a stranger. Her pain peaks when she realizes Kai's actions have put her father in danger. The look of fear and disappointment in her eyes marks a turning point for Kai, who begins to grapple with the consequences of his choices. Yet Drew tightens his grip, using guilt and fabricated evidence to keep Kai tethered, reminding him of the surgery he funded and the favors he pulled. Kai, now entangled in a legal and political mess, faces a career under review and the looming threat of indictment as a co-conspirator. The arrival of Justinda, a figure from Port Charles's past, shifts the balance of power. Her knowledge of Drew's misdeeds, threats, manipulations, and schemes could unravel his carefully constructed empire. Curtis, determined to expose Drew and protect his family, sees Justinda as a key ally. But with Kai acting as Drew's enforcer, their mission is fraught with danger. Trina, caught in the crossfire, senses the gathering storm. Her instincts, honed by past betrayals, tell her that Kai's loyalty to Drew is no longer about gratitude but about fear and control. Drew, sensing the threat, escalates his tactics. He orchestrates a scandal to discredit Curtis, undermines Justinda's credibility, and blackmails Kai with fabricated evidence that could land him in prison. Kai faces an impossible choice: protect himself or turn on the man who has manipulated him from the start. Trina, though heartbroken, holds on to a flicker of hope that Kai can still be saved. But time is running out, and the consequences of his actions are closing in. Kai's story is more than a personal tragedy. It's a stark reminder of the dangers of misplaced loyalty. His descent from a survivor to a pawn in Drew's game illustrates how easily gratitude can be weaponized, turning a man of promise into a tool of destruction. The loss of his relationship with Trina, the trust of Curtis and Portia, and his own sense of identity underscores the cost of blind allegiance. As Port Charles braces for the fallout, Kai stands at a crossroads. Will he recognize the truth before it's too late? Or will he become the monster Drew has molded him to be? This unfolding drama serves as a powerful lesson for us all. Loyalty, when given without question, can lead to devastating consequences. Kai's journey reminds us to guard our values, cherish our relationships, and question those who demand our allegiance at the expense of our humanity. As the stakes rise and the truth comes to light, Port Charles watches, hoping that redemption is still possible, but knowing that some losses may be irreversible. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!